Hello and welcome, my world-roaming Leafs. So, finally, the newest generation of Pokémon is out. Generation 9, Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet. And it receives very mixed receptions. Personally, I love it, but see for yourself.
The COPPERAJAH in the room. Yes, we cannot lie about this. The game does have issues. There are a few glitches and stuff, but what people show or tell you on the internet, especially Twitter, that's not quite true, to be very honest. At least to my experience, all the glitches that happened were very minor. Just like NPCs in the distance not moving smoothly but still moving. Sometimes you can look under the world, which is not that good looking, but ultimately does not take away from your experience. The game is still tons of fun. It's just rough around the edges and might need more polish. So yeah, I have seen glitches like people falling through the world and stuff, which probably can happen, but I have the feeling that these people specifically search for these glitches that don't happen regularly. They are accidents that, let's be honest, could happen in every game. And they just want to show off how bad, according to them, the game is and how broken it is. Even though, if you just play normally, you probably won't encounter anything game-breaking or anything. That said, I did have my game crash one time. I don't know why it crashed. I was just hatching some eggs. It could be my Switch getting hot, but I kind of doubt that. I played for longer than that on other games and stuff, but who knows. But then again, a game crashing, it didn't happen to me before in other games. Totally not. Of course, it's only in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This was a joke, by the way. I had games crash a lot of times. It sucks, yeah, you lose progress, fair. But yeah, it can happen. Even in a very polished game, stuff like that can happen. So ultimately, while it is rough around the edges, the game works and the fun is way overpowering those little glitches or lagging stuff and everything. I also have seen people talk about the game lagging in and of itself. I have never experienced that. Everything I did with my character, the movement of my character, that was always smooth. And I don't know what they did to experience that. But I have a little theory, because Bayonetta 3. Where's the relation there? Well, when the whole Bayonetta 3 debacle with the voice actress came out, a lot of people said they had a modded Switch to download the game illegally, which you should not do. Even though there's something with that voice actress, if you don't want to support them, don't download the game illegally. Just don't play the game. If you want to play the game, well then ignore bad stuff like that. That's your decision to make. If something like that happens, if a company does something bad, it's still no excuse to steal. So, yeah. My point, though, is if a lot of people told you that their Switch is modded to download games, and then a lot of people come out complaining about serious frame rate issues and stuff in the newest Pokemon game, then maybe some of these people have modded Switches. It's just a theory, of course. The game theory. I couldn't withstand that, sorry. But yeah, it's at least something to keep in mind. Also, it's not only me. It's also my wife's game, which works fine, except those aforementioned little things. And as I got the starters for my wife and me, so that we have all starters for us, I did start the game a total of 7 times. Well, 6. One time is my wife's playthrough. But like, together we have started it 7 times and got, at least in those we used to trade, to the first Pokemon Center. Without any problems. So, I don't know. There doesn't seem to be any randomness in that as well. So, make of that what you will. But, just let me tell you, this is not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. A wild Pokemon attacks! Now, the battles. They are classic Pokemon battles as they should be. And they haven't changed much about the core mechanic of it. They did not take over the styles from Legends Arceus, which... that could be seen as a negative. I would have liked it, but I don't mind it much myself. So, think of that what you will. But, what they did, and what I really like about it, they are much quicker. No longer do you have a ton of texts that you cannot click away. It's all more streamlined and feels more like a typical RPG like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy, which is great. Pokemon was always slow in the battles, and not due to battles taking long or anything, just because so much unnecessary text displaying. And they got rid of that. What they also did, and I like that, is the Let's Go command, which we already knew from trailers, but it's actually pretty fun to use. And yeah, if you want to grind a Pokemon up, or especially if you want to grind for certain items for your TMs, this is a great and fast way of doing that. And I really enjoy doing it a lot. It can also be used for shiny hunting. I might make the video on that as well. We'll see. Stay tuned and maybe subscribe. So, yeah. The battles are fast-paced now and a ton of fun. And thus, this is great. At the core, they are the same. The stuff I love, the stuff you probably love. If you still love Pokemon, those battles are part of it, and I guess you enjoy those as well. And that's a good thing. So, this is nice. Let's polish those crystals. Another type of battle that is completely new, maybe not completely, are the raid battles. Which, yeah, they are kinda like the ones in Pokemon Sword and Shield. However, that you can act on your own without paying attention to whenever the other players or NPCs are finished is so great. These battles are so much faster than they were in the Gala region that they are a ton of fun. Gone are those weird shields you had that like didn't make any sense, which were just like, oh yeah, your Pokemon is strong, but you have to get rid of the shield first, so the battle takes longer than it needs to. Which just is not challenging, just annoying. But it is not in this game. And every player can interact simultaneously until it is defeated. You have a timer though, which is fine. You need something to not make it too easy, of course. So there can still be challenge, but it is a challenge according to your skill and strength and how well your Pokemon was raised. Not a challenge as to how can I get these shields down the fastest, and my Pokemon is faster, so it only takes down one shield, and there's one shield left, so it's a wasted attack because the next Pokemon would take out of 2 shields, and I stop rambling about that now. The raid battles are so much better, and the Terra Pokemon you get from them are so much more worth it, and it's all so much more fun. Also, they look cool. And I especially love the catching animation. Also, the catching seemingly is a guaranteed capture. At least I have never failed even using Pokeballs only. I do not know the numbers behind it though. Maybe I just got lucky. But it seems not to be too hard, which is good because I guess getting a strong Pokemon shouldn't be too easy, but like, let's say Tyranitar, for example. That's a strong Pokemon, but if you don't get it that chance, you get it at the next chance. If you encounter them in the wild, there are plenty. Not so much for the raid dance. You have this one chance, and if you don't get this, yeah, the chance is gone. So, I do like it if these were easier to catch, or maybe even a guaranteed catch. The catching part shouldn't be the challenge here. So, yeah. This is a great concept, and they really nailed it. They just took what they did before and maybe not perfected it, but polished it up so that it shines like a crystal. Trainer, make me a sandwich! Now here I will cover two things because they are kinda tied together. First off, the sandwich making, and then the Herba Mystica path of the story. Now, the sandwich making is fun and simple, so it's a quick one. You can choose a recipe or go freestyle, and what I do like, you cannot really mess up, even if you make kinda disgusting combinations like ham and strawberries, which is possible, but yeah. The way this works is every ingredient you have adds a certain amount to a power modifier. And you can have 3 powers from each sandwich that raise your shiny odds or the chance to encounter a Pokemon of a certain type, stuff like that. You get these powers and they last for a certain amount of time, which is fine. And making the sandwich, not that hard. And that's also what I like. It's like, yeah, the curry minigame in Gala was fun for the first couple of times, but doing it over and over was a bit much. And while I still would like to have a automake button for a sandwich, putting the ingredients on doesn't take that much time. You can do that in like 2 minutes and have like 30 minutes of powers after that. So that's a great way to get higher chances for some things. Now, the Path of Legends is also about the food, and it's tied into the sandwiches a bit at least. At the end of each part of it, you do make a sandwich that unlocks a new ability for your right Pokemon, Koraidon or Miraidon, depending on the version you play. The way this works is that you have those Titan Pokemon, which, to be honest, from the first trailers, I was a bit on the edge if I like this or not. Because, like, in the other paths, you have to do more. You have to either auto-battle through a horde of enemies, or do the gym challenge, which gets you to battle the gym leader in the end. But this seemed like, walk up to the Pokemon, defeat it, done. That is not the case though, and that's a good thing. First off, if you defeat the Titan the first time, it's not actually defeated, but it will run away, eat the herb it protects, and gets stronger for the second fight. You get a companion, but like, yeah, he's not that strong, so it doesn't give you that much of an edge, but this is a bit more challenging, yeah. Finding the actual Titan Pokemon, not quite that hard, but at least you have to kinda do something that's similar to a gym challenge. It's really not just walk up there, be done with it. It's a bit more than that, so it gets a pass. It could be more, I agree, but it's still fine like it is. And once you defeated it, you can collect the Herba Mystica they protected, and thus make a sandwich that brings Koraidon or Miraidon back to more health, and thus adding a new feature, like running faster, climbing, swimming or flying even, which is great. Also, and I won't spoil anything here, it has a very good story attached to it. Really, it's a heartwarming thing that I wasn't expecting. It like got me. It got to me when I knew what was up with... Well, I'm not gonna tell with what, because that would be too spoilery, but I really like it. And this is a good way to limit the progress a bit. Also, did you notice that Herba Mystica shortens to HM? Kinda genius, right? You got a problem with me, dude? Now, Starfall Street is another of the 3 paths you can take in this game, and it is pretty enjoyable. Like, you have to auto-battle through a horde of enemies to get the attention of the boss of a certain sub-segment of Team Star. And then you have to defeat that boss. Which, with that boss, it's kind of like fighting a Titan Pokemon, but it has several Pokemon alongside it. Kind of like that. You kind of fight the team, of course, of that boss, but it's more akin to a boss battle than just battling a trainer, which this is the way it should be. Strong trainers shouldn't just be trainers with high-level Pokemon. There should be more attached to that. Especially in the visual department, and that big health bar, that helps that. Also, doing that reveals the story behind Team Star, which is an interesting one. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say about it. It is fun, but it is very simple as well. So, here we go. I wanna be the very best. And of course we have Victory Road, which is not the final road in the game. Or, well, it never was the final route, but you know what I mean. But instead, the name of the whole league challenge you have to do. 8 gyms, like always, and basically you know the gist if you have played other Pokemon games before. The only thing is that technically you can do the gyms in every order. We'll get to that problem later though. But, well, it is what it is. You challenge the Pokemon League. You do a little gym challenge before you can battle the gym leader, and honestly, these gym challenges, kinda fun. They are more unique than just find your way through a labyrinth, or, like in a lot of cases, just either defeat or kinda get past the trainers in a different way to get to the gym leader. You really have something to do, and while it is just a side activity basically, it is a fun one that does not necessarily have anything to do with the gym or teaches you anything. But, well, again, it's fun and it works good for what it is. So, yeah, defeating the gyms and then go to the Elite Four and stuff. Become one of the champs. And yes, there are several in this game, which is something I like, because it makes just way more sense. I need an adult. Now, one problem with the game, which in and of itself is not a problem, and I personally don't mind it much, but the marketing was a bit lying in that case. The open worldiness. You have huge open areas, yes, and they are enjoyable. We'll get to that in the last segment, but the problem I want to talk about here is it doesn't scale. Like, a certain gym leader is always as strong as he is in the beginning, no matter how much gym badges you earn before that. So, for example, if you go up all the way to the north and defeat the gym leader there with Pokemon at level, I don't know, probably around 50, and then go back to the closest to home gym, it's still the same weak gym leader there, and your Pokemon by that point, of course, are way over leveled, so it's a bit bad that it doesn't really scale. So you kinda can choose where to go, but like, even if you can manage to get to the later game parts, even without the help of the power-ups for your right Pokemon, you can't really do much there because the Pokemon are way too high level. It's a bit sad, but it also kind of makes sense, and yeah. You kind of only have really 2 paths you can choose between. You can either go east or west, and those are around the same level. So you can do them in any order, but you cannot really do all the challenges. Be it gym badges, Titan Pokemon, or Starfall Street stuff. In any order you want. Technically you can, if you're willing to way overlevel your Pokemon. At least overlevel them for the earlier trainers and stuff. But yeah, it's not really a feasible method to do that. You should go in a kinda vague order, but still an order. And like I said, I don't mind that. I personally think this works way better for a game like Pokemon, because no real game with levels that it claims to be open world is really open world, because like you're level 1 and go against that huge elder dragon, yeah, that won't happen. I know there are strategies you could use and stuff, but like playing normally, it just doesn't happen. So the open worldiness is de-open worlded by level caps, I guess. So yeah, so I think it works better like this, but they kind of sold us a free open world roaming thing, which it is not really. Yo, look what I found! Okay, finally I want to talk about the routes, or zones as the game calls them. And I really love this part of the game. Because kinda, rather than giving you just a big open world, you more like have those open areas. And that is cool. You have a lot to explore. And honestly, you find something around every corner. There are always Pokemon around. You can find a ton of items in two ways. Either in Pokeballs, which are bigger items like Pokeballs and stuff, or in those little shiny spots where you mainly find berries, but also can find stuff like potions. It's great. And the Pokemon do something in the environment. They're not just walking around there. They can sleep and all that stuff. Some hanging from trees. It's actually great. And what I especially love about that is they solved a problem I had with basically all Pokemon games. Like, your first route has 2, maybe 3 Pokemon. And it doesn't really get better in the next routes until maybe later in the game. But here, the first route just gives you like 5 different Pokemon to collect. It's a good mixture. There might even be more. It's really, you can find a lot of Pokemon. And the doubles. Yes, there are Pokemon you can find basically everywhere. But if you go to a new place you haven't seen before, you see a lot of Pokemon you have already met in previous zones. Sure. But you also see a good bunch of new ones you have not seen there. New ones as in you haven't seen them in this game, but they might be older ones, not only the new ones Scarlet Violet added. But there's always something you don't know yet if you enter a new area. And that is great, because I am honestly tired of seeing the same Pokemon, or its evolution, over and over again. And honestly, that they did not fix this around Gen 4, that baffles me. Because at that time you had enough Pokemon to fill up a route. I don't care if it's Bidoof, Rattata, and all the other Route 1 Pokemon from earlier Route 1s, from earlier games, that is. I don't care about them, I won't put them on my team. But if instead of Bidoof and Starly, you had Bidoof, Starly, Pidgeot, Rattata, Zigzagoon maybe, something like that. Like, those already at one route, in Gen 4 that is. This is what we're talking about right now. It would have made that first route so much more interesting. Sure, it was short, but still. You have those 2 encounters and just got stale. And it didn't really get better. On most routes you had just the evolutions of that and not much added. Here, however, always like 3 or 4 Pokemon you have not met in your playthrough thus far. And that is great. A lot of stuff to explore. A certain mystery I'm not talking about, but let's just say try going to the east. Like the far east, as far as you can from the first Pokemon Center, and then you'll see what I mean. I'll let you figure that out by yourself. Because I still don't have any idea what this will be in the end, but like if you do explore, you find that there and are intrigued. Nobody tells you anything about it. There's just one NPC close to that thing that mentions that thing, and that's it. And you can find stuff like that. Also, you can always see stuff you cannot reach yet, making you think, well, once my right Pokemon gets stronger, there's something there I can check out. And this is perfect. Because, in my opinion, if you make a world too open and make it so that you can go anywhere from any point in the game, that's just... I don't know. I did love Breath of the Wild, but it didn't give me that feeling of I should come back here later. Once I was finished with the stuff in an area, that was the area done. But here, if you finish the stuff you can at this point, there might be more later on. And this is much appreciated because this is so much fun. And that's all I have to say about this game.
So, what are your thoughts on the games? Do you like them? Do you want to buy them now after seeing my review? Or do you not like it because of the faults it has? Tell me in the comments down below. Also, right on the like and subscribe button as well as that little bell to keep updated whenever I upload a new video. And check out the links in the description leading to my Twitter and Instagram as well as my Discord, where I update you and post stuff, all the good things. Let's have some fun there. And also my Twitch, where I live stream every Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Fridays is Pokemon Violet Color Lock time. So, I hope to see you over there as well. And until next time, bye-dee!